So, hello everyone. Yes, I'm very happy to present the result of the use case between ThyssenKrupp, Volkswagen, and Fraunhofer ISST. So, as the title suggests, we are dealing with supply chains and how to handle transparency or to achieve a better transparency in automotive supply chains. So when we have a look at the basic setting, so unfortunately I see the logos are snipped out, so I'm sorry for that. So what we were facing in the beginning was the problem that we all talk about transparency in supply chains, but we we are not exchanging data which really improve supply chain transparency. So, and especially in the demand and capacity management and in bottleneck scenarios, it's all manually done. So you exchange Excel spreadsheets between your companies, and this is really an old-fashioned way of exchanging data. So we want to enhance this data exchange. So the reason why we are facing this project is that we see that the data is more and more becoming valuable, as we all know in the IDS consortium. And the main problem which avoids the exchange of data is missing trust between the participants. So yes, we want to use the IDS to gain this trust between the participants and to make the data which are necessary exchangeable. So, and yes, the main focus is the usage control mechanism of the IDS connectors in this way. So to give you the fundamentals, we have done also literature research. So what is the real problem? Is this just a problem between two companies, or is it a general problem? And we see on the left-hand side table, this is a study from 2017 among supply chain participants, and when we see the different data types, in overall, 74% of all supply chain participants are interested in data exchange in these data types. But just 36% of all supply chain participants have, or 36% have unsatisfied demands for these data. So there's a gap, as we see, and almost 26% refuse to share these data. So this we want to overcome with our use case. We're speaking about data which are between two categories of data. So on the upper right, we see there are already exchange data, so like delivery call off or business data, which are shared today, and there are data which can't be in any circumstance exchanged yet, so like employee data under the GDPR maybe. So, and in between there are data which could be transferred or shared, but due to missing trust, won't be exchanged today. So, and we are facing this in between category of data, like, for example, stock information or product forecast, production forecast, or demand forecast. So, when we look at the advantages, if we could.
Hallo Chris, kannst du dich verstehen? Ich höre dich.
If we could.
Kannst du dich verstehen?
Yes, we can hear you.
So, is there anyone who would like to ask a question? Otherwise, I would recommend to mute your micro, except Sebastian.
Okay. Yes, we want to focus on stock data, production forecast, and demand forecast to, yes, overcome these problems and to gain the advantages in transparency, like for work and tasks. So the whole supply chain risk management would, yes, take advantage of it. We've got the material and resources planning. So like for inventory stocks, or the packaging material could be optimized, or even in the nowadays, today under COVID, not that focused topic, zero emissions. So yes, we could exchange yes data which yes could give drawbacks
ja, genau,
to the supply chain.
Das ist ganz simpel.
So again,
machst eine
Mr.
Zoom-Session mit deinem
Heiko Löwe, could you
Personal
please mute your micro?
Irgendeine kannst du machen, aber ich.
Okay, so I did so now. It was me who had muted him. Thank you.
So yes, we saw these problems. So well, up to now, Volkswagen and ThyssenKrupp are not exchanging stock data or production forecast or demand forecast. So the real numbers, the live numbers, and or in a general setup, not yet. When it comes to bottlenecks, the process is looking different, but we want to focus on these data types and to gain trust between parties, not even Volkswagen and ThyssenKrupp, but also others, by applying our use case. So the focus of us is we are talking about a module which you can see up here. It's an ACT module of an engine, and it's delivered by ThyssenKrupp to Volkswagen at this point. And yes, so we want to exchange the data between these parties. And the idea is, yes, as I mentioned, we want to exchange stock data, demand data, and production information. We want every stakeholder to establish quickly connections. So let's say, well, I've got an engine part number XYZ, and I want to give you a view on my data, on my real-time data about the stock or whatever. So yes, connections could be established quickly. We want yes, them to be exchanged on demand or on a regular basis, scheduled. On demand means, well, when the person who wants the information could click a refresh button in the view, and the data is refreshed. So the data stays at the origin until it's requested. And we put a limit to these updates to avoid misuse. So if you would say there is no update limit and you're on the one hand side of this supply chain and you always click on the update button, so you have a real-time monitoring of the stock maybe of your business partner. So there's an update limit. And we want to provide just usage control mechanisms. So to give you just a brief overview of the usage control. So underlying is the legal and contractual framework, which is, yes, already established. Upon that, there is the IDS certification, so the playing rules in this network. And then we've got the technology usage control. So we say, well, you are just allowed to have a specific amount of history of these data. Let's say, well, I requested yesterday the stock information and today the stock information. If we say, well, you are just allowed to have one snapshot, then I don't see the information from yesterday. So this is adjustable. Or we can adjust the duration, how long data is stored. So let's say I just want to give the business partner the allow to view this data 2 hours or something. Afterwards, they are deleted directly. and we've got an access control usage policy. So when you receive the data, are you allowed to provide your internal systems API access or not? Or is the provided front end allowed to show these data? So these are data protection levels. So disallowed, allowed with access, or maybe it's allowed just for IDS certified systems. So there are also other topics where this this concept could be applied to. So let's say CO2 emissions. So when we hand the CO2 emission footprint through supply chain, so we are now able to share these data. So okay, stock data and so on, but it's not restricted to these data. So we could also share CO2 footprints, carbon footprints, for example. In the supply chain, we have the upcoming HV batteries. All goes into electric things, electric vehicle topics. So these are also topics there. And yes, customer data, connected car data, data sharing amongst other parties and so on, like payment details. So all the stuff which is somehow covered also by blockchain approaches. Yes, to come an end. Well, this is the team from us. So Ute Burkhardt is the project manager from VW, Kai Bormann from ThyssenKrupp, and me from Fraunhofer ISST. So thank you, everyone.